yesterday, and I probably about half an hour, 45 minutes through it. It's a 2.5 hour movie. I did not
Yeah,
realize that, but I'm like rushing to finish it before I get spoiled.
it's. I don't know how she saw it or what she doesn't know anything about it. She doesn't
Mhm.
watch anime at all, and I
I don't
was
think
like,
any of
well,
us know anything about it.
yeah. Even people who've watched it, including
Yeah.
me. I
Yep.
was like, geez, it'll be a lot easier if you're drunk for me to explain to this. That way, your mind can meld around the concepts that I'm about to force down
Right.
your
Let me start with the
throat.
AT field here. Second impact. Let's do it.
How do you feel about gods, angels, and mechs?
Right. Do you remember the names of the three wise men? They'll be important.
How high can we get?
You should get high as hell. Be great.
Yeah. Just even thinking about it now, like I tried explaining it to her, and
Mhm.
she had like that 1,000-yard stare within about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was
Have her
like,
watch 1.11, the movie, and if she doesn't dig it after that, it's like, all right, this
I
rabbit
can
hole goes way deeper. Just stop while you're ahead.
I can tell you that no, she will not. Like I know her taste enough to know
Right.
she's not gonna like anything about this, which I think
No.
is why she was asking me about it.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not even worth bringing up. You're gonna forget about all this. You're not gonna care.
I
And
feel
if
like
I have you watch it, we're gonna get to like episode 5, and you're just gonna be like, "What the fuck was that?"
I feel like people think they really are going to enjoy Ava until they get to the Berserk scene, and then like a thing explodes and coats an entire city in blood, and they're just like, "What? What?" It's like, yeah. Do you want to keep going? Because it gets worse from here. Like this is your chance to pull a ripcord and get out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
still a great show though.
Ava's great. Ava's incredible.
Yeah,
All three different paths and endings of Ava, they're all real good.
No, they're not. They're all insane, dude.
That's why they're good. Ava's great. Yeah. All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
Sure, why not?
yeah.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpier.
Howdy.
Definitely not doing anything with a smiling face hugger plush over there. And the Nymph.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. You can support us financially, and which we greatly appreciate. And then you get all the cool behind the scenes and early access stuff. You get the uncensored exclusive Outcast every week. That's where we talk about, well, I should say, most weeks we normally talk about everything that isn't video games. We spend a considerable amount of time this week talking about video games. So if you want to hear us talk
Yeah.
even more about games, to give you an idea, last week's Outcast alone was like an hour and 5 minutes long. So
Jeez,
if
Was it really?
it really was, yeah.
What
So
did
if
we
you,
talk about?
I don't really know.
I think the description started with, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I haven't been feeling well recently, so a lot of it was like, look, I edited it. It sounds good. Do with this what you will. So if you think that this episode just isn't long enough, you got the Outcast, which is usually like 30 to 60 minutes every week. You also get early access to We Roguelike It, our roguelike show. That comes out every week, and 2-month early access to Critical Misses, show where Moon and I are going through and catching up on all the hits we missed of music and TV and movies and comics at some point, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Media. All the media.
Yes.
You can get early access to all that stuff. $5 a month is the recommended tier. That's not per episode. That's per month, and we don't delete the back catalog stuff. So we're rapidly approaching 700 audio episodes on the Patreon alone. So
Too many.
you could sign up and go listen to all of that at patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Moon, what have you
Yes.
been playing? Hi, how are you?
Hi.
What have you been playing this past week?
Well, apparently this week I decided to go back to ancient times. A lot. To go back to ancient times. quick throw out here that obviously you don't need to write down. I played some Astroneer. Astroneer is great. We're doing
Did.
Extra Game Club.
Yep.
We'll be recording that soon.
I'm playing playing a lot of Astroneer, and my kid has a lot of questions about, like, hey, why did you open that box and a spaceship came out? And I was like, I can't. It's the future. just don't worry about, like, don't worry
space
about it.
compression.
Right? Yeah. There's like compression in the future is so good. Like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Also, Curse of the Dead Gods, currently recording the season of We Rogue Like It for that.
Yep.
However, I've only got 2 games to talk about this week.
Okay. 2 hot bangers.
Yes, actually, 2 hot bangers. So we're going to start first with Ancient Greece.
Assassin's Creed.
Specifically.
Oh.
Go away. Get away. Has there been an Assassin's Creed in Greece? I literally can't remember.
Isn't that? I can't
Italy?
remember. Is Odyssey?
That's Odyssey.
Is that
it?
Rome?
Is that Greece? Is it Greece?
It has to be Greece. We'll just say it is. We'll be.
No, because Odyssey. No. Because Odyssey ends with the Ed to Groot scene. So that's Rome.
Oh,
Isn't
okay.
That's what I was saying. I couldn't remember if it was Rome or if it was Greece.
Well, we'll be 3 white guys on a podcast and confidently say that we're wrong. It's Greece.
it? Yes. But yes. So the hottest new bangers of Game Pass approach this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming we've all been playing it, so we might as well just talk about Hades right now.
Yes,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's get this out of the way.
No.
I haven't played a ton of that because I'm trying to make progress in Astroneer, but I've done a handful of runs.
Okay.
I have done 5 runs.
Okay. I've done 7. So we're all at about the same place. So that's good to know. So minor thing here. If you are interested in mine and Boston and Monkey's opinions on Hades,
yes,
go check out We Rogue Like It that we did for Hades when it came out on PC out of early access.
Yep.
A lot of things we said then still stand. So yeah, I got my first clear.
Congrats.
Cool.
Thank you. Shockingly quick compared to the last time I did it, if I'm honest.
Right.
Quick note: achievements slightly buggy. Slightly,
okay.
Very buggy at the moment.
Sure.
Because I've done like 4 things that I know I should have an achievement for, and they have not popped.
Okay.
Specifically trinket related. There's ones from Skelly and things like that you should get, and so on and so forth. I haven't got those, but then when I got my first clear yesterday, I did not get the achievements until today. So.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, so it's one of those. So I'm just going to smile, nod, and move on with my life kind of thing, and see how things go.
I'm playing this on PS5, so far that hasn't been an issue, but I haven't unlocked that much stuff yet.
I think I have 1 achievement so far. I don't even know what it's for.
Yeah. My first one was
the first floor at Escape Fortress.
Yeah, I am such the new guy right now with this game where it's like I don't even know what half this crap does or is, and I'm still figuring things out.
My first one was for petting Cerberus 10 times, so like that's my priority.
I don't even think I've definitely pet him 10 times, and I don't think I've got that achievement.
Yeah.
So real quick, apparently I might have annoyed some people on my friends list this week.
Okay.
And I probably should have told Nimp about this, considering what we were talking about on the pre-show. I probably should have told him about this earlier this week. So on Thursday, I went on a vacation to New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing. I got there like the speed of light, almost as long as it takes to shut down and restart an Xbox One Series X.
Right. Boy, are my arms tired.
Yes. Because New Zealand is the time zone ahead of everybody. So if you want to play something that comes out on a Friday, on a Thursday, set your console time to New Zealand time, and then just play the game on Thursday instead.
Right.
Minor spoiler alert for anybody who wants to, do so next time there's a game you're interested in playing.
Right.
I think you might have a problem.
Hey.
No, it's just Hades is that good.
Yes. It's also worth saying that we literally talked about it on We Rogue Like. It's like, this is the game I will restart from scratch the second it hits Xbox just to do it all over again.
Yep.
Like,
and plus, I had thrown up the bat signal for the super sub in Destiny 2 on Friday, so
yeah,
a portion of your night was already spoken for.
That's what I played, and I forgot to talk about. I didn't write down Destiny 2. Yes, I played Destiny 2. We did the raid. We were successful. Yay me! I'm great.
We're now 9 days away from the new season, so a lot of it is like, yeah, Destiny 2, yada yada yada.
Yes, but no. So like, I got home. I think it was on Thursday. I got home at 9:30, and I was like, okay, I've got like 4 chores I need to do, and an hour and a half until the weekend where I went on a drive yesterday. So basically, no gaming time at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm just going to change my time to New Zealand and play Hades for an hour and a half, and it was great. I adored it. It was so much fun.
I gotta say, as someone who was playing Hades on the Switch, boy, it's really nice to play that game, number 1, on my big TV, number 2, with a real controller in my hands instead of the Joy-Cons. I'm way better with at that game with like a proper controller. It's real good.
Yeah, shockingly enough. And also for me, who used to be playing it through 2 floors via Steam Link.
Right. Your Steam Link is like, please kill me.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic playing it with my Elite controller, with the D-pad of my choice, with the controller and the stick tension of my choice as well.
Yeah.
Phrasing?
Probably not.
But it's so good. And like, I look at my friends list and it's like Hades.
Yep.
Something else. Hades.
Tokyo Olympics 2020.
Yeah. It's so good. Like,
yeah.
If you haven't played Hades at this point, and considering I believe it was my game of the year last year.
I think it was mine too.
Like, if you have not played it and you have an Xbox, even if you don't have an Xbox, play it.
Yeah.
Buy it, play it. Yes, it is a roguelike. Yes, that might instantly put you off. Turn on God mode, first and foremost.
Right.
Rule number 1.
God mode is the first thing I turn on. So for anyone that hasn't played it, God mode...
I actually forgot about that.
Yeah, God mode...
Go into settings, turn on God mode.
Every time you die, you get 2% more resistance to enemies, basically. Like, you just get a little bit stronger. I will... so it's $25. I bought it on PS5 like a couple weeks ago, because I thought, well, if I download it on Game Pass, I'll play it over there. If I want to support the devs too. Downloading, as we talked about in the Outcast, downloading stuff on Game Pass definitely does support the devs. So I don't want to be mistaken there. But my recommendation still holds that if you like roguelikes, you've probably already played this. Keep playing it. It's great. If you don't like roguelikes or you haven't played a roguelike, this is the one to play. It's not like the easiest, kindest roguelike, but it is probably one of the most fair. And win or lose a run, something changes every single run in kind of your hub area. So it's not just like, all right, keep smacking your head against this brick wall. Eventually you'll get it.
And it's not even just that, but it also does an incredible job with world building and lore. Like,
yeah.
And the voice acting is top notch, and everybody is thirsty for these characters. And it reminded me of when it came out, and my Twitter feed was just Hades artwork and everybody doing not safe for work stuff.
Yep.
Or NSFP, not safe for podcasting stuff.
That's right. But yeah,
Jimbo says it in the chat, like, he's never been addicted to a game so quickly in a long time. This game is fun as hell, pun intended. Which
there you go.
That's all, folks. That's the show. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. See you guys next week. I as soon as I started my first run, and like you pick up your very first boon, I was just like, yep, right back in it. Okay. This feels great. It runs, it's 4K 60 frames on the current consoles. Last gen, it's 1080p 60 frames. So like that's exactly what you would want out of this game, and it's got everything in it, and it works really great. Hades is great. How are you feeling as someone just jumping into it, Nimp?
The controls were a little weird at first.
Yeah.
But outside of that, the only issue that I have, and it's just a me issue, is that I get so used to the abilities and the buffs and stuff that I pick up that when I restart a run and I'm like, oh, I can't do that anymore.
Right.
I have
I'm
to
so
pick
slow.
something else up. Yeah.
Right.
How are you doing on the weapons? Like, have you unlocked all of them, or
not all of them? I have, was it the default sword? I have the bow. I have the shield, which I actually really like using the shield. And I was working towards unlocking.
You're one of those monsters. Get away from me with your shield. Like,
I like the punchy fists. I like those guys. I like moving fast.
And the only other thing that I can unlock right now is the spear. It looks like it's like 4 keys, 4 or 5 keys, something like that.
Wild.
And the other 2 spots are vacant right now. Yeah.
So Boston just spoiled one for you, so you know you've got them coming.
Yeah, the punchy
fists. I mean, I heard you guys talk about it on We Rogue Like It, so I knew a good portion of what was happening. But the first time I got to the boss in the first area, I did okay, but didn't beat her.
Oh, Meg will wipe you out. So
that's one of the hardest bosses.
The second time I went up against her, had no problems with her. It was close, but I didn't have any issues with her. And now I'm constantly beating her. Like she's just a footnote now, where it's like, okay, I have to beat her to get to the next area.
Right.
The next area is the one that I'm having issues with right now.
Yeah, I finished
the fire and the bombs everywhere.
Yeah, I've finished Hades a couple times. Like I'm definitely not as good as some people, but like that second area, the second area's boss is a cakewalk, but that second area overall it's always the one that gave me trouble.
I got to the Hydra once, and I either got him down to a quarter or a half. I don't remember, because I was just trying to feel out. I think it might have been a half because he split. Or it split, and then you had all the other Hydras that you were fighting.
Right.
And that's when things went sideways very quickly.
Right.
So for me, it's not the second area; it's the third area. Like the third area boss is one of the nastiest bosses in the game.
Yeah, that was tough.
The third area common mobs are total annoyances. Like because they have this thing that they do that I will not spoil, which is so nasty.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah, I hate that. But no, like I'm unlocking things at a surprising clip on my side. Like it's like, oh, okay. I know what I'm focusing on, which was keys for the weapons and now keys for the mirror.
Right.
So now I'm focusing on the keys. And I'm doing that old trick of, hey, I'm just going to always get the purple thing. Whichever weapon is glowing purple, that's the one I'm taking in.
Right.
Well, that's the funny, because I've unlocked a couple things in the mirror. I think I have everything maxed except for the first 2. What is it? The backstabbing and you get health every time you clear a room or exit a room or whatever.
Right.
Those are the only 2 I still have to put in for right now. And it keeps throwing me off because I have the ability when you die, you get half your health back.
Right.
And it always catches me off guard because I die and I'm like, all right, I guess I'm starting another run. And then I'm just standing there taking all this extra damage. Crap.
Yeah, for anyone that's playing Hades too, don't miss like I did. At some point, the mirror allows you to switch between 2 sets of buffs in the mirror. So don't miss out on the second set of buffs. They're also really good.
Yep. When does that unlock?
Nix will talk to you about unlocking the potential of the mirror even further. And then when you go to the mirror on the left-hand side, it'll have like a line with 2 arrows pointing towards the line on either side.
Okay.
And that will flip it.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of the difference it can make, the Death's Defiance one, which is the one that brings you back to life, you get 3 at 50% health on the purple side. On the green side, you get 3 per room at 30% health.
Yeah. It's real good.
So there's a big difference.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, and I did unlock the bar area in my hub.
Yeah.
Because I died enough times or whatever. So.
Yeah.
Which I think that part's cool too, that they're, like you were saying earlier, that some things change. Like I have characters that are missing in the hub now. I don't know where they're at or what's happening. And your character makes a note of it that, hey, so-and-so's not here. And oh, so-and-so's not here either.
Yeah.
So it is cool how that changes.
Underworld stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, it's been fun. I enjoy it. And I'll keep playing it, but I really like the mechanics in it so far.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, it feels like there's just way too much happening all at once.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, especially when you get to the final couple of bosses, there is a lot too much stuff going on those last couple of bosses, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Any final thoughts here for Hades? It's still good.
Yeah.
It's on Game Pass. Go get it.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. You should go play it.
Yeah.
My only other game I'm going to talk about this week takes me to ancient Rome instead.
Okay.
So this is where the conversation came from. Greece or Rome. Which is it? Who knows? Okay, so I have consistently got the name of this wrong because I can completely confuse the title of this with a different game. Okay, so the game I've been playing is called The Forgotten City.
Okay.
Not the Sunken City, as I have told people previously. That is wrong. The Sunken City is the Cthulhu one. The Forgotten City is this one.
Right.
Okay, now that that's out the way. So, Boston.
Yes.
You need to play this game.
Oh, this is the Elder Scrolls mod game. Yeah. They spun this Elder Scrolls mod into a full title.
Yep. So it was previously a Skyrim mod. And essentially, it's funny because without even knowing that, as soon as I started playing it, my first note was, this feels like Skyrim.
Right.
Hilarious. Because you get the, oh, hey, you're awake moment at the beginning of this mod.
Wait, are you a prisoner?
Kind of.
Okay.
So
it's always one of the dumb, stupid things with Elder Scrolls where they all just decided, no, every game you're a prisoner.
Right.
Just
fight rats in this prison. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey man. There's always a prisoner. There's always a lighthouse, and there's always stairs.
That's
Come
right.
on.
Yes.
These are the things. So, how the hell do I explain this game? You are a modern day person who has fallen into a river. You get pulled out of the river by this woman, whose name is Karen, of course.
Okay.
It makes the meme joke too, just so you're aware.
Woof. Okay.
Who it's executed pretty well, to be honest.
Okay.
And you get into a conversation with them. The reason why I said it feels like Skyrim is because it's immediately that Skyrim third, upper third torso.
Right, like in the middle of the screen.
Kind of thing.
Right.
Yes. But then you get into a conversation with them, and it's a conversation tree. So you can ask them questions, things like that. They ask you to go find a dude who's gone to this ruins behind you, give you a flashlight, send you into the ruins. When you get to the ruins, there's a weird portal there. And if you're picking up on clues, you know exactly what's going to happen when you go through the portal. But basically, you go through the portal, and it sends you back in time.
Right.
I was hoping it was going to send you to Oblivion.
To the entrance of this city, the Forgotten City, if you will. I almost said the Sunken City. And the whole thing with the Forgotten City is it's a small Roman village thing underground. I think 23 people live there officially. And the golden rule is anytime anyone commits a sin, the town gets killed.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
So the entire town is wiped out because a bunch of statues come to life and shoot everyone to death with bows and turn them into golden statues. Hence the golden rule. It's
gotcha.
A pun, but it's a good / bad pun.
Yeah, I'm putting it together. Yeah.
So one of the very first people you have the option to talk to, you sit there and you say, "Well, what is a sin?" Because no offense, but you're Roman, I'm from modern day. Your sins and my sins are different.
Right.
Who judges what is a sin? Is stealing a sin, or is it something more serious than that? And it's all conversation based, mostly. There is a little bit of combat in there that's relatively simple, but it's all conversation based. And anytime someone commits a sin, all the statues come to life. Then the leader of the city runs back to the entrance, sacrifices himself to reopen the portal for you to jump back into it, and then go back to the start of the day when you first entered the city.
Right, because I remember from when the mod originally came out, it was a huge hit. It always seemed more like, as opposed to like a combat exploration thing, it's almost more like a murder mystery kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. And you have to figure out, because the whole thing is, the portal opened in the first place because the guy sacrificed himself to bring somebody in to help figure out who committed the sin that destroyed the city.
Uh-huh.
So by going there, you have to help find out who committed the sin that destroyed the city, so then you can stop that from happening, creating a paradox, meaning that you don't get brought into the past in the first place.
Aha, right.
Okay, so timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff.
Right.
Obviously,
Yeah.
You know. And honestly, it's really stupid and so much fun at the same time.
Yeah.
Because everything you learn, everything you do, you keep from loop to loop to loop. So there is a young girl who's gone missing, and you're trying to find clues as to what happened to that young girl. Why is she gone missing in a city that no one can escape from?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a conundrum kind of thing. So by finding all these clues, I was exploring, and I figured out that someone who killed himself earlier in the game, which that didn't break the golden rule, apparently, which is good to know, was their partner. So then you can try and, on your next loop, stop the dude from jumping by talking about how you know his significant other is. So you get new conversation branches for all of these people, depending on how much knowledge you have about their situation.
Okay, that's cool.
It's kind of insane, like the amount of little detail and things like that in it. The game looks insanely gorgeous. Like, it's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I have a trailer playing, or like a review here playing on the stream, and it looks really good.
And like,
this is like some Majora's Mask stuff that you're talking about.
It 100% is, dude. Except instead of a giant moon, it's a sin that's causing this issue.
Right.
And like, you got people who kind of skate their way around it by doing things that are not great, but technically not sinning kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, one of the people says they have a form of escape, and their form of escape is hemlock, which is poison.
Right.
And technically they are correct. A way to escape the situation they are in is to take hemlock, which kills you. So they poison themselves because this other person told them it's a way to get out of the situation, not knowing that it was a poison.
Right.
Not breaking the golden rule.
Right.
However, me accidentally picking up someone's key totally broke the golden rule.
Aha. Right.
It is still an Elder Scrolls type game, you know.
Right.
Yes. Because I 100% stole that key, but the bright side was, next time I went through the game, I had the key to that person's front door.
Oh, so you keep objects too?
Interesting. Okay.
You can solve the puzzle to get into this person's house the long way, and then the next time you literally just walk up to the front door and unlock it with a key.
Wow.
It's really, really stupidly good considering how dumb the idea behind it is. And I have the emote in Destiny. It's that emote, Boston, with the board with the red lines and the thing from It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, the conspiracy theory one. Is that you now?
That is me trying to play this game.
Right, pulling out your notebook.
This person knows this person, and this person is persuaded this person to do something that they don't want. There's an election going on, but this person's in prison, but I know this person's not going to let them out from prison. This person put them in prison. Is there somebody else who I can nominate to be magistrate of this town? And if so, will they let the person out of prison? And then if I do that, how many different ways do I have to talk to people to get them to change their votes to the person I want to win? How many favors do I need to do? Or how much dirty information do I have on them to tell them to change their vote? Otherwise, this little fact will become common knowledge.
Right.
It's
It's wild.
Amazingly complex how many different like threads there are to go through this. And there's some really dumb achievements in it. Like apparently you can beat the game in one loop, which sure.
Oh
why
wow,
not?
interesting. Yeah.
Well, that feels like an Outer Wild situation where, like, yeah, you can technically do it if you're a space pilot and know exactly where to go.
Right. Yeah, it looks like this is on everything, and it's only $30.
Honestly, the only reason I picked this up was because I saw a little bit of buzz about it on Twitter. Like, people started talking about it being a pretty solid game. And I thought, screw it. I'm just going to throw some money at it, see how it goes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, this game needs more buzz. Like, obviously there's a mod there and stuff, but this is apparently a team of 4 people who made this.
Yeah, very small team. I think it literally just came out last week.
Last week or the week before, I think.
Yeah,
yes.
pretty recently. We missed it in our releases, but yeah, go check it out. It looks cool.
It's really good. And Boston, I have a feeling you would love to do the unraveling behind this.
Yeah, let me add this to my
puzzle pieces.
My wish list here. Click.
But yes, that is all I've been playing. Thank you, PS Prices, for that. And we will pass the book over to Nimp. Nimp, which era are you in?
What? No.
What era are you in?
So, first game I'm going to talk about, Disgaea 6.
Oh, you're in Japanese era. Okay.
Yes. I've beaten the game.
Nice.
Did you beat the game, or did the game beat itself?
No, I beat the game. I only use the auto battler and all that stuff for grinding when I'm doing dishes and stuff like that.
Push the button, snake.
Yeah, which still messes up my wife. When she walks in here, nobody's in here, but the game is still playing itself.
It's me. Ooh.
So I found out, how gods of destruction are made. Found out who that god of destruction was, who made them, and promptly kicked their butt, and then beat the game.
Nice.
All the way up to this point, hadn't had any issues. I get to the end game stuff.
Aha.
Which, so usually once you beat the game, there's like a bunch of extra stuff that opens up. There's usually like Crimson Worlds and stuff like that for you to get into. Things to make harder, fight bigger bosses like Ball, all this other fun stuff.
Right.
The first thing that I could do was I could get into this area called the Carnage World, which would allow me to fight stronger monsters. And it turns out that these people are Laharl, Etna, and Fallen Angel Flan from the earlier Disgaea games.
Nice.
All right, cool. They usually show up at least once somewhere in these games now.
Right.
I'm completely fine with it because I love them and they're stupid.
Yep.
But it's set up where you fight each of them individually, then you start fighting them in pairs, and then the very last map you have to fight all 3 of them.
Oh, jeez.
And that was the first time that I legitimately had a wall that I couldn't beat by brute forcing my way through it, because at this point the level cap is still 9,999. They're max level, my guys are max level, and it's those 3 and a bunch of printies that you're fighting.
Of course it is.
Yeah. And all of my attacks are just doing very small amounts of damage to these guys, which in the grand scheme of things, we're doing hundreds of millions of points of damage. Numbers don't even mean a thing anymore right now.
But they have quadrillion hit points.
Yeah, all of us do. It's just they happen to be doing way more damage than I was doing, and I couldn't figure out what was happening. I couldn't grind anymore. I could reincarnate and then grind them back up to make their stats stronger, and I did that with a couple of characters, but I realized that this entire time I had not been leveling up their skills or their specials.
Oh no.
Okay.
Which is because I haven't had a need to until this point. So I'm like, all right. Go ahead.
Question though. If there is one thing that could make you struggle, are you not happy that it's these 3 that would make you struggle?
Yeah.
That's true.
Is that not perfect?
Yeah.
I have no issue that Etna is the one that's throwing my characters into a wall and saying, no, not right now. So, And plus, it gives me the ability to just dig into what's in the game and be like, okay, where am I messing up? How am I not doing this
it's like
correctly?
that's how the end game stuff should be, where it's like, all this stuff is hard. Here's something seemingly insurmountable over here.
Yeah. So I finally leveled those up. And I was doing better, but not great. So I'm like, all right, let me see. Let me go through. Let me change out everyone's weapons, because I haven't changed any weapons. Like, I literally only did the grinding for level because I could just brute force my way through the story stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And I wanted to see how far I could get, which is not very far, without really doing anything else. Because I always like testing out the systems like that to see how you can manipulate them in your favor. So went through, got them all brand new gear, went back in there, completely walked the floor with them. It's like, all right, cool. Beat them, and now they're in my party.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Now, I also have unlocked the ability to change the difficulty of the world. So, as each map, every map, you're on the normal difficulty. Now I can change them to the Carnage difficulty.
Oh, cool.
There's a very steep hill to this. I would call it a very steep mountain range.
Right.
Because the first level I did it on Carnage, everyone in there was about, I think they were like level 700. Not a problem for my guys.
Right.
The very next level after that I tried, everyone in there was 175,000 level. And my guys are still 9,000. So,
right. All right.
Like, all right, I'm not supposed to do this yet. Let me go back. I had found out that by beating Laharl, Etna, and Flan, that unlocked a bunch of stuff that I can do now. So now I have released they call it the handicap, the level handicap. So now my characters can get up to the higher levels. I don't remember what they capped them out at.
Higher than 10,000.
Yes. Possibly 100,000, who knows?
Right.
Maybe even 1 million. But so now I have those. All you have to do is reincarnate your character, select the option to release the limiter for them, which costs karma, and then you just send them on their way and grind. And all of my characters right now are like 33,000 right now.
Jesus.
And I'm doing like hundreds of millions of damage on things now.
I like that you're in like the cookie clicker phase of a Disgaea game, where it's like, I have them automatically, and now I've got a bazillion cookies and whatever.
Well, and I've spent so much time with their demon intelligence system, their gambit system, basically.
Yeah.
That I have like rows and rows and rows and rows of like what their AI scripting needs to be doing for this scenario.
You're flipping
and that scenario.
spreadsheets.
Yeah, I've only come across one scenario so far where it actually broke the DI system, and that was one of the levels was separated into platforms. So you had to throw characters over to the other side to get them to keep fighting. And that was the only thing that has broken this so far. And I haven't quite figured out a way to get them to notice that and be like, okay, grab a character, throw them over and stuff like that.
Maybe they'll patch that in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure at this point I could look up something online and some dude's got something written out in Python that I can just...
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, just really loving it. From what I've seen, because I've started reading in more about the systems and stuff with this game, they have really not dumbed down, but brought down the amount of systems in this game from previous games, which I'm completely fine with, because I was starting to even feel like in the last game that there is just way too much crap in here.
Yeah.
For this game, I mean, I enjoyed all of it, but it was just way too much, and all of it was only making like slight improvements here and there to your characters, and it felt more like a weird time waster than anything else.
Yeah.
So they've brought a lot of that back. They've also brought back the amount of characters in the game. So besides getting Laharl and Etna and Flan, I didn't get any other character classes unlocked.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine.
Focus it a little bit.
Yeah, to me it sucks because I'm used to having like a range of 30 different classes, and now I'm down to like maybe 15. So whatever. They got rid of your characters used to earn skills based on the weapon that they were using and their weapon mastery level with that, where basically they use like a sword constantly, and they're like level 15 with a sword, and they would unlock skills based on that weapon progression. They don't have that anymore. Characters only learn unique skills, So what that means is that they don't have like they have character specific skills and that's it. There's no like class really specific skills.
I see. Okay.
Or like extra skills, because like your fire mage will still learn like fire spells, and then you turn them into a wind mage and then they'll start to learn wind spells, but that's like it. There's no extra like class skill feature, race feature, or anything like that, so that kind of sucks. They did make it so that monsters can now use any weapon. Before they had to only use specific monster weapons, which was just one.
Yeah, that was always so annoying.
Yeah. Now they can use whatever, but that kind of doesn't really matter because you're not learning weapon skills anymore. So it's like, all right, I guess I'll give this dragon a sword because why not?
Yeah, it's like the strongest thing I have. So
yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
Right.
But I mean, it's still really fun. If you've never played a Disgaea game and you wanted to check it out, this is definitely the one to check out. I hope that they do add more if they make a 7th one. But I don't want them to go down the line of what 5 and before was. It's like keep it focused, add some stuff here and there, or change some stuff up, but I don't need literally 25 different systems for being able to level things up and all this other stuff. So I still really love it. I am still grinding it. I haven't even found Ball yet. I know he's in this game, but
probably
he's probably in an item world somewhere that I need to find. So yeah, still gonna keep playing it. Still really love the grind. It's kind of gotten to the point where I'm used to seeing these massive numbers now, because I'll turn around and see like my character's getting hit for like almost 1 billion points of damage. I'm like, geez, that guy is dead. And then you just see like this little blip of health just disappear from his HP.
2 pixels
like,
disappear.
Wow. Yeah. So it's still fun and crazy. The next game I have is Scarlet Nexus.
Ooh.
I have also beaten this game.
Nice.
This really goes into the whole final boss form for JRPGs. I've fought, before getting to the final boss, I fought 3 final bosses individually, which then combined into one final boss, like straight up Voltron into a final boss.
This was only my 4th form. It's like, oh my god, come on.
So like the individual bosses, when you were fighting them, they each had like certain strengths and weaknesses, where one boss basically had an umbrella. I'll just say that. And if you hit the umbrella, you don't do damage to it.
Oh, okay.
But this thing is like twirling the umbrella like everywhere. So you have to really make your attacks count. Eventually, when they combine, the stupid thing still has the umbrella.
Oh, no.
Of course.
Boo!
Yeah. So that sucked. And they all had like their certain ways of fighting them and all that. And once they combined, you had to take that into effect, where it's like, okay, it's doing this now, so I have to do this, and so on and so forth. And eventually you beat it. It has a ton of health, so it was kind of just waiting for your moment to strike, and otherwise just running around, jumping around, trying to not get hit by things.
Right.
Then you get to the final boss, who has their own amount of forms. Beat them, things happen. Story continues. Like, cool, I'm really liking this.
Yeah.
The final dungeon still sucked.
Yeah.
But it was worth it for the story. And there's enough that you're because they split off where Kasani, you could choose between Kasani or, holy crap, I can't remember the guy who I've been playing as name.
Yusuke,
Yuito?
probably.
Yuito, I think his name was.
Okay.
I honestly can't remember his name all of a sudden. But anyway, it's him and Kasani are the 2 characters that you can pick from to start a game. And their stories eventually, they meet up and then they split and then they meet up here and there. But there has been enough stuff that when they meet again and you're talking with them that they have said, it's like, oh, I really want to see what that is. And I don't think it'll be enough stuff to be like, oh, this is a whole brand new game playing, this story or that story. But I think there is enough potentially side stuff that it could be interesting to replay it as the other character to see some of the stuff that they were talking about that they experienced.
Right.
And I haven't started another game yet playing as her. You do get, once you've beaten the game, you do get New Game Plus.
Nice.
And you get was if you load that up, you can choose to keep playing as that character. I'm pretty sure it's Yuito. I don't. Anyway, it's gonna bother me now. But I can choose to restart that save file, and that'll put me before I went into the final dungeon. And there's apparently like a bunch of side quests that have opened up because I've beaten the game and I'm loading like a cleared save file.
Right.
So I can do all that, and then I can choose to load a new game plus, which will. It sounds like it's pretty much moving everything over like one to one.
Great. Nice.
So that'll be cool. The only thing that might suck is that your level compared to the enemies, they keep them 1-to-1. So like as soon as your main character hits 50, everything is level 50, like enemy wise. So you're not really getting anything for that. It's just mostly you're leveling up to get the points to put into your little grid to help level that out. But yeah, it's a really cool story.
Yeah,
it's not doing anything entirely new, but it's doing enough different that I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I gotta play.
You just want a new type of sauce on your fries.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta play this. Everything you've said sounds really great. Lena Rain, the composer, she's been playing it a lot. I follow her on Twitter. She has been really enjoying it too. So like between the two of you, I keep seeing stuff where I was like, man, this game looks super cool. I gotta find some time to get to it.
I will say, when you get to the final dungeon, just throw it on easy.
Oh, for sure. I'll probably play it on easy the whole time.
Yeah, that's fine too. But it's not that the final dungeon is hard. It's just it keeps locking you into these arenas that you have to beat things. And after like the 6th one, it's like, my God, I just want all of this to be dead so I can move on.
Just let me be free, please.
Yeah. And even on easy, it's still not a pushover, especially when you start getting into the bigger enemies that it throws at you. You still have to pay attention to what you're doing and how you're attacking them.
Right.
It's just instead of them hitting you for half your health, it's like, oh, look, he took off a quarter. Cool.
Yeah.
Like I can take 3 more of these hits before I'm dead instead of 1 more.
Right. So, that's not bad.
And there is a ton, if you're really into it, there is a ton of like cosmetic stuff that you unlock in this game.
Oh, cool.
Like pretty much any side quest that you do pretty much just pays you in either cosmetics or things to make cosmetics.
Nice.
So, I like it. Cool. All right. Really like it. So eventually I'll probably start playing the second one at some point, but I just wanted to give it a break right now because I have a lot of things going on this past week.
Right.
After that, played some Ascent.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where I am in this game right now.
That's about right, yeah.
So the biggest thing that I can remember is that I randomly came across this giant mech in what looked like a train station that just started attacking me for no reason.
That's a really tough fight.
It really was. Yeah. I had to run away and keep shooting it from a distance, and that wasn't working, so I ran away and shot all the small stuff first, and then I ran away far enough that I couldn't find where the mech went back to reset itself.
Right.
And I'm just running along, and all of a sudden there's like missiles coming in at me. I was like, oh, found the mech. So, fought that thing. I think it killed me once. And this game has really good checkpoints.
Yeah.
It killed me and pretty much put me right back in not in the exact same spot, but close enough that I wasn't wandering around looking for it. And I had full health as opposed to like the sliver of red bar that I had.
Right.
So I went back and managed to finally take that thing out. But the thing was so big on the screen that I couldn't see my character half the time.
Yes.
And there's like all of these pillars and all of these benches all over the place that I'm like trying to like dodge and jump around to get out of the way. And I keep getting hung up on like someone's baggage that's on the ground that it won't let me jump over. Or
get out of my way, man.
Yeah. So, finally take that out. It gives me this like rocket launcher machine gun thing where it starts out really slow where it's like put and there's like put and then you have to reload and it's like, wow, that's actually really cool. So,
and if anyone missed what you just said, it does that but with rockets.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really great,
especially with spraying stuff. Like when you're in a big area and you've got a big crowd coming to you and you just slowly start it up and next thing you know, everything's just gone. So, right now, the mission that I'm doing is I'm transferring power because I think I've gotten to the point where they're worried about the other companies or whatever coming in to start taking apart everything.
Yeah.
So it was something about I have to reroute power before somebody else does. That way we have power resources or something.
Yeah, and you're like hacking AIs of other companies, but you have to like put the power, like transfer the power to your group so you can overtake this other thing. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna follow the line that I'm gonna shoot all these rats.
In the sewer shooting the things that you started the game with.
Yeah.
So, but I've got one of every weapon that I'm aware of so far. I was figuring out that when you upgrade a weapon, it seems to do that for all of that weapon. So like the dread. If you upgrade the dread and you pick up like 5 more of them, all 5 of them are going to have the same stat. So
it's pretty nice,
Yeah, so I've just been selling any extra stuff that I've picked up and just upgrading what I'm keeping.
You only need one. I feel like they try to explain that system and they do it pretty okay, but they really focus on armor. But yeah, you can sell one of like I just kept one of literally everything, and that's the way I made the most money.
That's
selling
what I've been doing so far as well. Can you upgrade the armor too?
No, you can't upgrade the armor, but there are different tiers. So you'll run into ones that are like blue or yellow or purple.
I don't know what I have on my character right now, but it is like the baggiest clothes. Like they look like a blimp, man. Like my pants and my shirt.
There's some real like hammer pants. Yeah.
And then running around with this giant rocket machine gun. It looks all sorts of messed up. So.
It's great. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm doing so far in that. I still like the game. The controls every once in a while still get me, where it's like, oh crap, I hit the wrong button to do the thing that I want to do. I now have, on top of like this supersonic punch that I have, I also have this grenade that I can, or I guess this ability that I throw out a grenade looking thing and it turns into a turret or something.
Yeah, that thing's great.
I haven't used it a whole lot because I just got it, and also did not realize that I had just gotten it either. It was like a drop from an enemy that auto-equipped itself. So,
oh, sure. Yeah, I kept that thing equipped until the very end of the game. It's real good.
Well, and then I was noticing too that my character is starting to get like these circuits and stuff on their face.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to figure out, I was like, what? That wasn't a cosmetic thing that I chose. What's going on? And apparently when you equip stuff on them, they start getting that. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
It's a cool touch.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of Shepard from Mass Effect 2.
Yeah. Well, Lazarus Project.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was because it never fails that the last couple of fights I've been in, it's all been in like populated areas.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's really hard to tell what's a civilian that's just trying to run by you and what's actually trying to attack you. Yeah. So I've slaughtered a lot of innocents in this game.
I have too, and thankfully there's no real downside to it. When you get later in the game and you get a new boss that's telling you what to do, every once in a while you'll say it as a civilian and they'll be like, hey man, like can we try to not do that? And you're like, yeah, okay. You're just still spraying peeps.
Well, and it sucks too because the one area I'm thinking of, it was in like a really populated area.
Yep.
And I could not figure out who was shooting me and who was just trying to run away. So I just kind of threw a grenade in the area and be like, well, that's settled.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, still having a lot of fun with that game.
Yep.
It's still really... It's hitting that weird cyber futuristic, everything sucks, but you're the fixer. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's real good.
And then the other game I was playing was Hades.
Oh, yeah.
So, which is still really fun, but
yeah,
we already talked about it.
Yeah.
So that's all I've been playing this week.
I finally purchased Fuga Melodies of Steel on PS5. Whatever release pricing business finally got sorted out. I fired it up. It functions. I haven't really started in it because I know it's fairly battle and conversation heavy. I did fight one battle, and yes, that's as complicated as I thought it was going to be, but it seems like it's going to be really good. So I'm sort of shelving that for just a short little bit until I clean up some of these other games first.
Hitting the buttons you want it to hit.
Yeah, very much so. Axiom Verge 2.
Yeah.
Sudden release. Hey, we're coming out later today. And I said, oh, okay, all right, I'll clear my schedule, I guess. Man, what a radically different game from the first one. I am starting to suspect that I probably won't pick up a gun at all in this game.
Interesting.
Which is very different from the first one. It's very melee focused, and enemies are really tough. So I'm sort of picking and choosing my battles even this early on, which is pretty different from most Metroidvanias, which is like if it's moving on the screen, like let's shoot it and take whatever orbs pop out of it. The soundtrack is even better than the first one, which is pretty incredible. Visuals are great. The first game looked really great, but this one sort of carries over that same art style, but feels a little bit more detailed. A lot of the enemies, even early on, are pretty big. You are getting abilities pretty fast early on in the game. I think I've already gotten like 6 or 7 abilities in the first hour. So you'll run into these little jar things, smack them open, they give you an ability. The most recent ability I got was the option to hack things, including platforms, enemies, like birds in the environment. I tried to hack those on a whim, and it was just like, yeah, now these are going to go attack these other enemies because you hacked them. I was like, oh,
sure,
okay,
why not?
Great, sure. Game also has really cool difficulty options. Number one, you can still opt to not beat any boss. So all of the bosses in the game are optional. And they have difficulty options for how much damage you do and how much damage the enemies do to you. And it's a sliding scale. So you can, if you want to make it super hard, pump that all the way to the right for enemies and say they do 3 times damage or whatever, and you do 0.5. Or vice versa, if you just want this thing to be a cakewalk, you do a whole bunch of damage and the enemies are basically tickling you for attacks. So don't have a ton of time in this yet, but so far everything seems really cool. Really interested to see where the story goes. The thing that the developer unveiled right before the game came out is like, oh, I've been dropping a couple hints about this in the couple trailers, but you're switching dimensions in this game a lot. So I sort of made like 2 games in one. It's like, oh my god, okay, somebody stop him, please, God. But not a lot to say on this one so far. I'm expecting to really like this because I really liked the first one. This one seems to be more of the same, but kind of taking that next step. And I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with the battle system in this, because it really does not seem to be gun focused, and it seems to be melee focused, which is pretty cool. I think it's a cool choice to make it so different from the first one. Next up, Art of Rally. I've been playing a lot of this.
Game Pass.
Yeah, I'm playing this on my Series X on Game Pass. I went looking, and it doesn't look like it's on PlayStation platforms yet, but it looks like they're going to be putting it out later. It is sort of a top-down, isometric-ish, chill, but challenging enough rally racing game. It looks way better in motion than I was expecting it to. The lighting engine on the game is really great. And it controls like a proper rally game, like if you were picking up something from Codemasters or something, like it has that same feel. It has that same kind of
a little dirty feeling, one might
yeah,
say.
like a little slippery, like a little dirty, a little gritty. But it feels right, and it doesn't feel. I think my worry before playing it was that I was worried they were going to kind of dumb it down to just be like, oh yeah, it's like, it's like a friendly racing game. It definitely isn't. Like, you still need to race the racing line. You still need to kind of take the corners as you can, drift when you can, and all that. I think the thing that I'm most surprised about is the amount of content that's in it. There's approximately like 3 billion cars in there. There's a lot of tracks, both like forwards and backwards. So they have like, oh, this is the regular track, this is the reverse one. But there's this like kind of loose story mode that's going about like this type of rally racing that was outlawed in the 60s because it was too dangerous. What if that never got outlawed? How would the rally racing world sort of look throughout each one of the decades? So you start in like 1967, 1972, stuff like that. But the thing that I think is really interesting is at a high level, there's 5 different years that you race in. In each one of those years, there's 4 or 5 series. Each one of those series has at least one group of 4 races. So it's not just like, hey, here's one race in 5 years. Good job, 5 races. It's like, no, in one of these years, you're probably going to be doing like 20 to 30 races.
Oh, jeez.
And some of them, like if you're going for a 4-race series, you'll do 2 races. You get an opportunity to repair your car because it's probably going to be in bad shape. And then you're going to do 2 more races. So you're kind of keeping not only your standing in the series, but you're going to keep your car damage between each race. So you really are encouraged to race clean and kind of for speed mostly, but also try to keep your car from, yeeting itself off of a cliff or something.
You got to ride that razor's edge.
Yeah, and it's really satisfying, like when you manage to like find the car that really clicks with you, because they all perform so differently. When you find that car that works for you, and you can kind of race that line and like just kind of like have your back 2 tires flirting with this cliff that you're racing next to, like that feels really great in a way that I don't think I was expecting out of this game. And if you don't want, so it's a rally game, so you're not racing other people on the same track, you're just racing against their times. One of my larger complaints about this game is as you're racing, you don't see those other times. So by the time you finish a race, and I don't think I've raced, a single race for me hasn't been more than 5 minutes. Usually they're like in the 1 to 3 minute range, so it's not a huge amount of time. But sometimes you'll finish and be like, I did really great. And it'll be like, yeah, you got 3rd place. It's like, well, okay, like why? Like I don't think I understood that I was performing that poorly. You can restart the race and do it again, but there aren't really any ghosts. There aren't really any idea of like, well, you hit this checkpoint, you're 0.3 seconds behind 1st place. There's no idea of that. That's kind of a bummer. But I think it's balanced out by having an incredible number of races. You can create your own series of races. There are daily and weekly challenges. There's a free roam that's really great. It just dumps you on one of these maps. You can drive anywhere you want, sort of like Forza Horizon style, and there's collectibles all over the map, and you can kind of enjoy the visuals and the soundtrack. I'm really, really enjoying this a lot so far. It's a lot deeper and a lot... it drives a lot better than I think I was expecting it to, which is really exciting. And I've had a lot of fun. There are like 5 difficulty options. It starts you in normal. I ticked that down by 1, and I feel like that's been fairly competitive for me because I'm not the best rally racer. I'm not the best racing game player in general. So, you know, I'm sort of pulling that difficulty down. But Art of Rally so far has been really, really, really good. And I've been enjoying it. Moon and I have been looking forward to it for a while, I think, based on some of the early trailers.
Cool.
I'm really happy it's on Game Pass. I would really recommend going and checking it out. It's really good. I'm enjoying it more than I was expecting I would. Last game this week, Boyfriend Dungeon. Also a surprise Nintendo release on every platform this week. This is a Shin Megami Tensei inspired dungeon crawling sword dating visual novel. So it very much is a visual novel, like in a sort of an otome game sort of way. I think if anything
that was a great smorgasbord of words that you just
said,
by the way.
I think if anything is going to sell you on the humor of this game, you run into a man by the name of Sunder, who's a fairly standard sword in his sword form. But you primarily communicate with these people that turn into swords that turn into people in 2 kind of ways. One is when you're in your apartment, you're sending texts between all these people, and then when you go on a date, you're sort of talking to them face to face. The whole conceit of the game is you're in this town for the summer between years in college. You've never really dated. Your cousin is just like, hey man, like I'm in a successful relationship. Let's try to hook you up. Let's get you some dates. Let's get you some dating experience.
Well, that's keeping pretty true to the single life of random family members trying to hook you up with people.
Yeah, and he's pretty well-meaning, but like a lot of his texts are like, all right, I've got another date for you tonight. Let's go. And it's like, oh, God, okay, God, jeez. The thing that will probably sell you on the humor of this game is Sander really early on is like sends you one of those texts where it's like, hey girl, what's up? It's late at night. I'm thinking about you. And he says like a double entendre with like a sword's hardness, let's just say. And one of your options is like, LOL, show me. And I was like, all right, I gotta try this. And you've probably seen it on Twitter at this point that he sends you a sword pic, and it's a picture on this pillow of his sword, and it's just like, that's real great. You did exactly the thing that I would hope you would do in a game called Boyfriend Dungeon, where you get to date swords. And that's really great. 2 thumbs up.
Sure.
Yeah, it's real good. A note about the discussion around this game and its content warning at the beginning. If you have seen the content warning, the game, as it stands on release, and Kitfox Games says they're going to patch this to be a little bit more explicit, those things happen to your character. They're not just topics that you encounter. So, like, the bad guy in the game sucks and is gross, and he's the worst. So he is sliding into your texts unwelcome and being real gross and ignoring all of your very direct comments to say, like, yo, shut up and stop doing that. You're the worst. And he'll go like, LOL, whatever, sweetheart. Kiss emoji, bye. It's just like, no, this is the worst. So heed that content warning. Like in a lot of visual novels, some of this stuff can get pretty dark. And that note that the content warning happens to your character, not just kind of around your character.
It's not a thing, yeah.
Yeah. Once you leave your apartment, you go out to an overworld that's exactly like the Shin Megami Tensei games. It is you walking around in chibi form on a town map, inspecting buildings and going on dates, and etc. Chippo Jingles. And when you go into the dungeon, or the dunge, as the game calls it, it is a third-person isometric hack-and-slash game, where you are fighting manifestations of TVs and phones and cell phones and stuff. And it is shockingly like Hades, in a way that Hades has the dodge on the A button, I believe.
Yes.
And this has the dodge button on the B button, which means I have not been dodging in this game very much because I keep hitting the wrong button.
Having enough problems with the controls in Hades as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait to play this one.
The good part about this game is it's not very hard, so you don't really need to dodge. One of the cooler parts is every time you leave the dungeon, it sort of tallies up all the experience you gained. Whatever sort of intimate events you did with whatever sword you're wielding in the dungeon, how many chests you opened, how many enemies you fought. The nice part is every time you level up in this game, you get significantly stronger. So, and there's no penalty for dying in the dungeon. It just kind of like kicks you back to your apartment. You wake up the next day. You still get your experience, your items, all the relationship stuff you've done with it, whatever weapon you bring in. So it's nice that even if you get yourself into a bad situation, you pass out, you wake up, you try again the next day. Each one of the 6 weapons or 7 weapons you get, they all play pretty differently in a pretty fun way.
And one is a cat, I believe.
Yes.
Was that the Patreon one?
I don't know. I remember this being kickstarted, but I don't know which.
Or I guess the Kickstarter special one. I thought they had one special weapon, and I heard that they may be bringing it, but
yeah, I don't know too much. But yeah, the cat one is really good. I won't spoil what weapon that is because it's very appropriate, and the like quote unquote dates you go on with the cat are all really, really good.
I'm not gonna lie, if it's not giant cat paws, I'm gonna be disappointed.
No,
you don't have to tell me, but I'm just saying.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised about that one. But like each weapon kind of suits the person pretty nicely, which is great. The person that turns into a scythe is pretty appropriately that. I feel like I have a couple of issues with this game. I think one is there's only 6 levels of relationship with each person. It's really easy to say to that person, I want a relationship or I just want to be friends. Thankfully, the game is very explicit about, I'm going to be making this choice about, let's pursue a romantic relationship or we're just going to hang out or we're going to be friends. A lot of games, a lot of visual novels, a lot of Otome games don't always do that great, where you're like, oh, I'd love to do this. And it's like, you've entered a relationship with this person. These 3 other people are mad. It's just like, wait, what? I was
just going to get a cup of coffee.
Right. I was just like, hey, would you like to get a sandwich? And now everyone's mad at me. It's very good at that. But I think for me, and I'm 99% sure this is a personal thing, I feel like the relationships move too quickly. But I think that's a reflection of how I feel about relationships progressing in real life. So in the game, there's only like 6 levels of a relationship. And if you're interested in this person, you move pretty quick. Because you kind of want to have this whole story arc as your relationship with this person and your relationship with wielding them as a weapon progress. Because every time you level up, they get another skill in the weapon skill tree. So for the weapon you like the most, or the person you like the most, you're going to kind of want to use them the most, especially if you're in a relationship with them. But that's like I feel like that might be just me and my thing.
Your old man soapbox.
Yeah, my old man. So all these kids and they're e-drugs and they're dating.
Do you feel compelled to test out the other weapons, or have you just kind of just found one and stuck with it?
I've been using all of them, largely number one achievements, of which like 3 or 4 of them are busted at the moment. I hope it gets patched soon. Number one for the achievements, but also the writing in the game is genuinely really solid. I think the texting writing feels really good. Each one of the characters has a whole full story arc that I'm only in a relationship with one person, the woman who's a dagger. And I'm staying friends with all of the rest of the people. And it's been interesting seeing how some of these storylines intertwine, and with how your relationship with someone that you're staying friends with progresses, and kind of how you can tell the story is branching off because you're not in a relationship with this person, you're just friends with them, how it kind of changes there. And some characters have continued to pressure you, saying like, hey, like, you still want to be in a relationship? And you're like, no, man, like, come on, leave me alone. You know, weirdo, chill out. And then there's kind of this overarching storyline with the bad guy. And kind of what's happening to all these weapons as they've been, how they've gotten into the position that they're in when you find them. My only other criticism of this game is it's short. I am almost 100% done with it. And by that I mean I've finished both dungeons. I've leveled up 5 of the 6 weapons to max rank, and I've seen all of their storylines. I've collected and crafted everything in the game. Like, it is, if you're just going to go kind of pick one weapon, go through the 2 dungeons, fight the final boss, it's probably like 5 hours. That's not bad, but for me, for like visual novel dating games, I like really want to be in it for the long haul. But I think since they're doing dungeon crawling and the city stuff and the dating stuff, I feel like it's a lot of stuff to put all together to kind of, it's a small team too. It would probably have so much more development time to make this into like a 20-hour game. Yeah, like it would just be a lot for they're juggling a lot. I think Boyfriend Dungeon is really great. I'm very curious to I think I only have like one more date to go on, and then I have the final boss to fight. And I'm very curious to see where the story is going to go. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really having a lot of fun. It's really well made. The voice acting is really good. Sungwon Cho, Pro ZD, is one of the swords in this game, and that is really great. He's always fantastic. But to me, I think it's a really solid game, and I'm curious to see where it goes at the end. I wish it was a little bit longer. I think just because I am enjoying kind of this mashing together of a couple of different genres. But it's on Game Pass right now, and it's, as I said, it's pretty short, so you can knock it out pretty easily. And even if you've never played like a visual novel, especially like a dating visual novel, this is a cool one to try. It's not going to be like Jimbo Jangles in chat said, when you try another weapon, Broadsword will remember that. Like, it's definitely not to that level. It's not like Tokimeki Memorial or anything, where it's like you gotta juggle 50 different things to make this one girl like you. So you can get a
DDLC.
Yeah, it's definitely not DDLC. DDLC, ironically, not the darkest visual novel I have played. But
it was just a surprise more than anything else.
Yeah. And I feel like that's where some of the criticism and some of the frustration of people that are playing Boyfriend Dungeon is like, oh, I understood the content warning. I didn't realize that would be happening to my character that's a problem. It's like, thankfully, Kit Fox came out and they're like, all right, we didn't word the content warning super well. We're going to put a better one in there next time we patch. So, we appreciate everybody's feedback on it, which is great. But if any of that sounds interesting, I think it's a cool game. I think it's a cool, short little thing that I don't remember what Kit Fox made before, Moon Hunters, I think. But it's nice to see this game come out and be as crazy and exactly as they sort of purported it to be during the Kickstarter, and I'm happy to see it's a successful thing, and I would recommend giving it a shot, especially on Game Pass. I mean, it's just a couple hours. Give it a shot. You might find a new genre you like, or you might find a new favorite sword. Who knows? That's up to you.
True.
Yeah. But that's all I've been playing this week, so let's take a break.
Yep.
I will be right back.
Okay.
Same.
I will hang out here by myself. No guilt. Hi, everyone in chat. How's it going? I also have to go to the bathroom, but I'm not going to leave you guys here alone by yourself. Let's check out the last couple news stories here. A new SMT 5 trailer for Orochi. God, they keep putting trailers out for this like every couple of days, and I'm really trying not to watch them because I know I'm going to play it. Here, I'll put it on stream for everyone while we're chatting. Volume 60, no big deal. I really been trying not to pay attention to too much of this because I already have it pre-ordered. Like, I know I'm going to play this game no matter what. So I'm trying not to really watch too much of it. But yeah, that looks like that snaky guy. Jimbo Jangle says the air is finally better here. What a nightmare that was. Good. I'm happy to hear that. We had the fires down here in San Diego were pretty bad last year, so we unfortunately also dealt with that last year too. It's just no fun. There's no escape from it. All right, that was that trailer. Boop. What else do we have? A new retro shooter about helping people dress better.
The only escape was to not play.
That's right. Called Fashion Police Squad. Welcome to Trendopolis. Great. That's a good name. What time is it? 4:15. Yeah, jeez. Codename Dull Suit Fashion Crime 2 Drab.
Sure.
That's great. This looks stupid in the best ways. Oh, man. All right, once Nymph comes back, we'll kind of rocket through the rest of this episode. And then we can go take care of my ailing wife. Ailing because she's married to me. What's up, Self-Burn? Welcome back.
Cat was being super bitchy.
Yeah.
As soon as I opened the door.
Feed me! Man. All right, are you guys ready to wrap this thing up?
Yep.
Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of August 16th, 2021. Road 96 comes out on PC and Switch. This is the game they showed off, I think it was the Game Awards maybe this year. Whereas this kind of narrative branching thing where you're in a car and you're trying to escape whatever country you're in, and you can kind of dictate your story from there on out. Looks super cool. I'm excited to see how this reviews when it comes out. Humankind is coming out on PC. This is the Endless Legend, Endless Space, Dungeon of the Endless game team. This is.
Are they making at once?
I don't even know. They're making Endless Dungeon and this game. This is their new 4X game. They sort of started as a 4X studio, from what I understand. They sort of spun off of Ubisoft and started making these games. So this is their new 4X game. Looks pretty cool. I feel like I don't need another 4X game in my life because I have Stellaris, but maybe that's not the right attitude, but whatever. Next game here, Greek Memories of Azure. That Greek is based on...
Sorry, I only want Roman.
Yeah, that's based on earlier. That's spelled Greak. Comes out of PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, and Stadia. I hadn't heard about this game until just now, but it is a watercolor painted 3-character kind of Trine-like. Like each of the 3 characters has their own skills. Metroidvania. It looks really cool.
Oh no.
Yeah. Greek Memories of Azure. I don't know how much it costs. It looks super cool. You should really go watch a trailer. I think there was a release trailer. It was like a minute and a half long. Looks great. I'm very interested in that. 12 Minutes comes out. Xbox One, Series X, and PC. This is Game Pass day and date. This is, you've probably seen it. The lone developer has been working on it for like 5 or 7 years. This is the one where it's top down in a room. You and your wife are chatting. Somebody busts in, kills your wife, and says, "This is for what you've done." And you can kind of reset this 12-minute loop and kind of try and figure out the mystery. This looks great. I've been waiting for this for a real long time. Very happy it's on Game Pass. 2 thumbs up. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut comes out on PS4 and PS5. Looks like there's just kind of a lot of enhancements all over the place, including the Japanese language lip syncing. Yep. It looks like there's... If you're waiting for Ghost of Tsushima, it looks like this is probably the one you want to scoop up. It has a whole bunch of stuff, has all the patches, and I think it has the new island in it as well. If you pick up the whole complete collection, has the new DLC in it, I believe. And lastly here, Madden NFL 22, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, PC, and Stadia. Feel like I don't need to address what that is. You probably, if you're listening to the show, you probably know what Madden is. Let's move on to news stories here. Nintendo, we've been talking about some of these games we were talking about earlier today. Nintendo had an Indie World showcase where they sort of got lucky enough to announce, hey, here's a whole bunch of games that are coming out on the Switch. A lot of them today and other platforms. Let's cover the highlights. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is coming out in 2022. That's finally getting a release window. If you haven't seen that, that's Jet Set Radio. It looks incredible. Go watch a trailer for that. You probably don't need to because you probably played Jet Set Radio. It's literally that. Loop Hero is coming to Switch this holiday. That's another one if you haven't played. That will probably play pretty well on Switch with the touchscreen. You should go play Loop Hero. It's really good. I should also find a time to try and finish that. I got stuck on the final boss. Boyfriend Dungeon and Axiom Verge 2 are out right now. Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon finally has a release window of this holiday. I'm super excited for seeing more of that. I just like Shovel Knight. I want to see more of that. Metal Slug Tactics has a release window of 2022, which I'm real pumped about. That looks real good. Every time they show more footage of that, it just looks better. This looks real good. Tetris Effect Connected comes out October 8th, 2021 on the Switch. As the developers have said, this is all of it. It's the entire game, including the multiplayer. So it's the whole package is coming to Switch. If you haven't played it, grab some headphones, go play it. That is absolutely not to be missed. Tetris Effect is incredible.
It's so good, especially play on the Switch if that's all you got, but on the new platforms with the, HDR, 4K.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, it's so good. Shockingly, Astroneer is coming out January of next year on the Switch. That as someone who's playing that game right now, that feels like an awfully big game to put on the Switch. But we'll see how that performs, I guess. Question mark. Okay, this is probably one of my favorite titles of this year. Slime Rancher Portable Edition came out on Switch that day.
Good.
Yeah, I mistyped it originally. I just wrote Portable Edition, and I caught it out of the corner of my eye and said, no, that says Portable. That's really good. 2 thumbs up for that. And Eastward, that's Chucklefish's new game where you're kind of going to a magical school. That's coming out September 16th, 2021. I've been waiting for that game for a really long time, and I'm very excited to see that it finally has a release date, and it's only next month. There were a couple of other games shown there, but like we don't have 2 more hours to talk about all the games, so just go watch the shockingly fast Indie World Showcase video. It'll show you all of those. Speaking of indie showcases, Stardew Valley is coming to Game Pass this fall. That's it. You need to download it and try it if you haven't played it. It's great. It works great on controller. It's real good. Don't go for all the achievements or the trophies. Don't punish yourself like that. You're better than that. Don't do it. All of them are fair except for one of them. No, don't do it to yourself. Something you should do to yourself, though, is download the Tales of Arise demo coming August 18th. That's this week. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X. Save data does not carry over, but this will give you a good indication of, number 1, how dope Tales games look, and number 2, if you like the battle system or not.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm hoping to check that out, because I like the Tales games, and this one looks real cool. And, Now that it's sort of natively on these new consoles, it also looks real good too.
I was say with it being on the Unreal Engine, they were talking about how it's supposed to have HDR and 4K support and all that stuff. So it's going to be the anime of anime things.
Thank you for HDR.
No.
I just want to see more devs support HDR because now that I have a TV that like does it properly, it's so good. It's great. Sheesh. All right, yeah, I'm definitely going to download that demo. It looks
Look
great.
on the bright side, dude. Forza Horizon 5 is going to have it, and that was a showcase of showcases for that kind of thing.
Yeah, like firing up Forza Horizon 4, like, of course, every time I fire it up, it's in winter. So I'm just like, okay, this isn't like the best showcase for HDR. Maybe for brightness, yes, but like, just give me fall, give me spring, give me one of those two. Last news story, and the most important one, sort of closing the loop here on something we're talking about in the Outcast. Idris Elba is going to be voicing Knuckles in the second Sonic movie.
Sure. Why not?
I love this. I watched some of the first Sonic movie before my kid got bored. That was actually surprisingly pretty good. And you tell me Idris Elba is going to voice Knuckles the Echidna. Yeah, I'm gonna see the second Sonic movie. Why not? Idris Elba's great.
Hey, man! It's Red Superman.
That's right. So good. All right. Unfortunately, I am out of time here to talk about our email here from Nick R. I'm going to save that for next week, including the very cool picture of his new cat that he sent us, which, if you want an easy way for your emails to get on the show, include a picture of a cat, preferably if it's yours. I love them all. But you can visit us at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including the Discord server. There's never been a better time to hop into Destiny 2 with a brand new season, including crossplay, starting on August 24th. Join our Destiny 2 channel. I'm going to mute everyone else while I'm selling you on the E1M1 clan on Destiny 2. But we have a bunch. We got like 2 weeks left on the Final Fantasy V Forge Out Fiesta for this year. The channel's still clipping along for that. The Marvel Puzzle Quest channel, God help them, is still going strong. There's a couple of people over there that are always chatting. So things are. We have a small but passionate and very friendly community over there. The best community on the internet. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Talked about all the cool behind the scenes stuff and early access stuff. Don't forget that your financial support helps me pay for the hosting for the show and all the software and licenses and all that stuff. We like to keep it on the up and up here on this show. So that pays all that stuff. You want to know where all your money goes
Big
towards?
Podcasts doesn't sponsor us. We don't get like donations from big podcasts.
Yeah. You want to hear about, this whatever hot new mattress. I'm not really interested in that. But yeah, your money goes a long way to sort of easing the stress of having to host this stuff. Because not only do we not have sponsors, because I'm not really interested, but also I'm not on a free platform that just puts sponsorships in the episodes. So, that also stinks. So all I like being transparent about where your money goes. Check out where all that goes on the Patreon page and get us closer to the $250 goal of me streaming Spooky Sierra games. And
yes, please.
Yeah,
yes, please.
And starting that adventure. I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 Nymph, what are your titles?
I have Smiling Face Hugger Plush. 3 white guys on a podcast.
That's us.
Yay me, I'm great. NSFP. Tickling you with attacks. Little dirty feeling. Flirting with the cliff. And sword pick.
Moon, what do you have?
Petting Cerberus, Vacation to New Zealand, NSFP, Fun as Hell, # Underworld Stuff, Oh Hey, You're Awake, Did the Game Beat Itself, Cookie Clicker Phase, and Sword Pick.
Cookie Clicker Phase. All right, I have # Underworld Stuff, Yay Me, I'm Great, NSFP, Vacation in New Zealand, Oh Hey, You're Awake, and Cookie Clicker Phase. I have checkmarked # Underworld Stuff and NSFP, since that was on more than one list. Jimbo Jangles in chat says 2 show titles, Approximately 3 Billion and Sword Hardness, which probably veto on that last one.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. I don't like that character in the game, but that sword pick is genuinely very funny.
I'm not gonna lie, like I'm torn. I do like # Underworld Stuff and NSFP both.
Mm-hmm.
I like NSFP. But I can be persuaded.
NSFP. Let me Google this before we... What is slang? Not safe for parents.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine.
I mean, if that's the worst offensive thing that turns out to be.
Or the Norwegian Society for Philosophical Practice in Oslo.
Oh, the NSFP Fellows Program is designed to become a model that can be replicated by other offices and institutions to provide qualified students.
Sounds like us.
Yeah.
All right, I circled NSFP. I think that's our front runner. Let me know when you guys are ready.
Sure, ready. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying I'm ready.
I have a really good one. I wish I could jump in here.
You can?
Nymph, you can take this one. You can have it be your Myers-Briggs.
We'll just do it.
You make a Myers-Briggs joke.
And then you just jump in after you or after me.
Mm.
You can be the surprise.
Ha!
All right, I'm ready.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 721 for August 16th, 2021. NSFP.
Gotta keep it clean.
Your parents could be listening.
Actually,
Boston, go.
With how old we are, I bet your parents are listening.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
I am the parent of 2 people listening and watching right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, go to bed, kids.
Yeah.
Stay in school. Eat your veggies. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. I hope we'll see you all next week. Bye.